up to you to make sure that you're working the whole time and that you're understanding anything. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, okay? Let's go ahead and start with this on the odds. Guys, this is a quadratic. First off, you have to understand what a quadratic looks like. And if you don't know, you look at any other problem throughout there and you see that it's a U shape, right? So when you go on the test and you draw me a line on here, what am I going to say? That's a big no. We do not draw lines. We do not draw absolute value functions, okay? These are U shapes, okay? Either up or down. Okay, so here's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out where my vertex is. So where is my vertex, guys? When it's a plus 1 on the inside, what does that mean? To the left 1, and what does that mean? Up 2. So I'm going to go left 1 and up 2, and that's my vertex. I always know that this number in the front, that's an understood what in the front? 1, means that if I go to the right one, I go up or down that number. So I go to the right one and I go up 1. But it's symmetrical, so I'm going to do it on the other side as well. How many points did I say that I want on your graphs? I want 5, so I want 1 more. Well, we got that one. We got those 2. I'm going to go 1 more to the right at x equals 1. And I'm going to plug in x equals 1 into the function. So y equals 1 plus 1 squared plus 2. 1 plus 1 is, and 2 squared is, and 4 plus 2 is. So that means when x equals 1, y equals 6. So if it's symmetrical, that means it's also true over there, and I can sketch my graph. Guys, when you're sketching, please make sure that your quadratic actually goes through the points that you sketch. If you don't, then I will count off, okay? So there we go. Okay, did you sketch that if you haven't already? Did you sketch that? Let's talk about this one. Where's the vertex? To the right 2, and then, okay, so I'm going to go right 2 and up 3. So right 3 is right here, right? Or up 3. Now, what does that mean, the negative in the front? It's flipped over, and so it's a negative 1, right? So basically, if I go to the right one, instead of going up 1, I'm going to go down 1 on either side, right? Now I'm going to pick one more number to the right when x equals what? 4. And I'm going to plug in a 4. Now, I'm comfortable doing this without a calculator. If you're not comfortable with doing this without a calculator, then do it. You type in a negative, parenthesis, 4 minus 2, close parenthesis, you square it, and then you add 3. However, if you just trust yourself, you can do it. What's 4 minus 2? What's 2 squared? Negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1. So at 4, we're at negative 1, which means at 0, we're at negative 1. Is that enough? Is that enough, guys? Okay. So then I just carry on the graph, and there we go. It does say to describe the transformations. I already have the transformations right here, left 1, up 2. Right here we have right 2, up 3. The only thing I need to add to that is what? Flip over the x because of that negative. Okay. Just as a reminder, right quick, let's go ahead and do one of the evens. 2 or 4? Which one? 4? Okay, let's do it. Where's the vertex? Where are we going? Left 3, down 3. So left 3, down 3. And then what's A? Okay, so you're saying just to graph it, I know I need to go to the right one, and because there's a number 3 in the front, I need to go up 3. So go to the right one and go 1, 2, 3, and go left one and go 1, 2, 3. Okay, is that enough? I need one more point. What point should I plug in? X equals what? X equals negative 1. So if x equals negative 1, then I have 3 times negative 1 plus 3, quantity squared minus 3. What's negative 1 plus 3? What's 2 squared? What's 3 times 4? Plus 12 minus 3. So at negative 1, I'm at 9. And that means at -5 I'm at 9. Now I have enough to sketch my graph. Okay, as far as describing the transformations go, I need one more thing to say. When you multiply by 3, what kind of transformation is that? Do you remember? Okay, when you multiply by 3, that's called a vertical, good, stretch by 3. Now, it's okay if you do VS by 3 or VS3. That's a vertical stretch by 3. Right quick, would that be a vertical stretch by 2? And a reflection. Okay, there's something separate, so don't say vertical stretch by -2. That doesn't work. The negative is a flip. Okay, so let's talk about number 5. State the vertex, the axis of symmetry. So state the vertex, the axis of symmetry. Whether or not this is a max or a min, and state the max or min value. So is it a max or is it a min? And then the value. Okay, vertex. Left or right? Right 3, and then, so that's my vertex. Well, if I have a parabola, and this is a positive parabola, right? If I have a positive a in a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. If a is positive, do I open up or open down? I open up. This is when a is what? Negative. So if I have a positive a, then I open up, right? Okay, if this point right here is the point 3, 4, then that means I'm going right 3 and up 4, yeah? Does that, or what is my axis of symmetry? Do y'all know? Okay. What do we always forget in front of that? Thank you. X equals 3. So axis of symmetry is always x equals the x value. So guys, just looking at that, does that create a maximum or a minimum? It creates a minimum. Now what is the minimum value? What's the lowest this function goes? The lowest the function goes is 4. The y value. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Just what you have to do, you have to be able to sit on your test and know that you're going to have a positive a that means open up, a negative a means open down, max versus min. Okay? And then you can go from there. So now what about this one? Where's your vertex? Okay, so since it's negative, we're going to the right 2. And then minus 1, so down 1. Okay. Is this open up or open down? That's a negative, so it opens down. So I can draw a quick little sketch, and I know that my axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Is this a max or is it a min? It's a maximum because it has a highest point. And what is the maximum value? -1 is the highest it goes. Okay? Good. Convert each function from vertex to standard form. Okay, so, alright, this one, when I have this square right here, this is in vertex form, what do I have to do to x plus 4 quantity squared? Can I just distribute the square and say x squared plus 16? Because that's what people do sometimes. Curtis, head up. What have I got to do? I'm waiting on you guys. More than one person said it. Make 2 parentheses. Is that x plus 4 times x plus 4? Okay. If you're just sitting there writing things down, then you're not internalizing what you need to do. Please understand that when you square something, it means you multiply it by itself, right? Now we distribute. First I'm going to distribute the x. Now if any of you prefer the box method, that's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. X times x is what? If you're good at doing this in your head right away, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and work it all out. X times 4 is? So I've distributed the x. Now I want to distribute the what? The 4. 4 times x is? And 4 times 4 is? And then I want a minus 3. These two combine to what? And these two combine to 13. And I'm done. Okay? We're going to skip to number 12. Instead of doing number 11, we're going to do number 12 together. So basically what I have to do now is first write it in vertex form and then convert it to standard form. So first I need to figure out my A and my vertex. Well, I don't know if it's plus yet. It is, but okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Left or right? Right how much? Which means what? Minus 3. Up or down? How much? 1, so plus 1. And then how do I figure out A, guys? Did y'all good with remembering how to do that? You always go to the right one and figure out how much you go up or down, right? Okay, so when I go to the right one, how much do I go down? I go down 2, which makes A what? Negative 2. Okay. So A is negative 2. Now, what do I have to do first to work this problem? To make it standard form. Right, I have to say x minus 3 times x minus 3, right? And then plus 1. Okay, what's x times x? What's x times negative 3? Negative 3x. Now I'm going to distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times x is, again, negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. But remember, guys, we're multiplying all of this by what? Negative 2, and then I'm adding 1. There's a specific order. You cannot distribute your negative 2 up here because you're squaring. You can't add 1 here because you got to multiply by negative 2. So you have to do everything in order. Can I combine these two before I simplify? To what? Good, so negative 6x. Can I go ahead and add 9 and 1? Nope. Not until after I what? Good. So what's negative 2 times x squared? Negative 2x squared. What's negative 2 times negative 6? Positive 12x. What is negative 2 times positive 9? And then plus 1. So y equals a negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 17. Okay. Let's work 13 together. Y'all already got it? Let's go 13. Okay, guys. Left or right? Left, which means what? So plus 2. Up, how much? 4. Do I know A? When I go to the right one, do I know how much I go up? Okay, so that means I put a what? I put an A. Okay, if you are not familiar with this one, then you definitely need to write this down and make sure you understand, because there's going to be one, at least one, on the test just like this. Okay, can you tell me a point that the function does go through? 0, 5? You might could have picked 2, 8. It looks like that's another one. You can't pick the vertex again. We already used that one, right? I'll go ahead and use the point 0, 5. That's an x and that's a y, right? So down here, in for y, I'm going to replace what? 5. And in for x, I'm going to replace 0. And then I'm going to solve for a. Okay, what's 0 plus 2? 2. And what's 2 squared? So 5 equals 4a plus 4. What do I want to do? minus the 4. So 1 equals 4a, so what does a equal? 1 over 4. Am I done? I now have to convert it to what? Standard form. So y equals 1/4 times x plus 2 quantity squared plus 4. Okay, the first thing I want to do is distribute out my x plus 2 times x plus 2. So 1/4 times, and I'm going to do this in a different color, just kind of. X plus 2 times x plus 2, and then plus 4. So 1/4 times, what's x times x? X squared. X times 2. I'm actually going to write this down right here. X squared plus 2x, and then plus 2x, and then plus what? So what combines? Okay, good. The 4x comes from 2x plus 2x, and then plus 4. And then plus 4. Okay, what do I have to do now? Sure. 1/4 times x squared is 1/4 x squared. What's 1/4 times 4x? If you're not sure, you type it in your calculator. 1 divided by 4 times 4. Well, that's just 1. So plus 1x, or just x. And then 1/4 times 4 again. And then plus another 4. That becomes what? Now am I done? Okay. If there's only one on the test, then you might think, well, it's okay if I don't know it, because there's just one. But remember, that's quite a few points, because not only do you have to do all of this afterwards, you have to actually do all the work to find A, so that would be even more points than something just like this. So it's worth you knowing. All you got to do is write it as an A, and then plug in an X and Y and solve for A. Okay? Okay, 15? Let's, that's fine. That's big and pink. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to 16. Because I'm not going to make, 15 was kind of weird as far as finding it. It's over on the left-hand side. Did you find 15? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to 16. We'll go from there, and if we have time, I'll go back to that one. So, if I give you a calculator and I give you a function in quadratic form and I ask you for the vertex, what's the thing you're going to do? Probably going to graph it and find the max and the min, right? Okay, so first I'm going to just type in negative 0.5 x squared plus 4x minus 8. Are you doing this with me? Okay, you've already done it good, but otherwise I want you to pay attention. Okay, I always want to go zoom 6 just to get back to a regular window. And do I see my function? I see enough of it to find the max, right? So I'm going to go ahead and find, and it is a maximum. So I can just go ahead and say, because all I ask is for the vertex and axis symmetry. Second, calculate max. So second, calculate the maximum. I need to go to the left of the maximum. Do you see where my blinky dude is? Okay, he's actually right there. Am I to the left of the maximum? Sure. Press enter. I need to go to the right of it. So now I can hold it down, or I can push buttons, or I can just type in a number until I get over to the right. Does it matter how far to the right? No. So I press enter. I press enter. What does it ask me to find? Isn't the vertex that point right there? Yeah. Okay, so I have to understand that the vertex is the max and the min. Okay, so I get this. So in number 16, I get that the maximum occurs at this point right here, and they say that it's 4, basically, right? X equals 4 and y equals negative 3e to the negative 12. What does that mean to you guys? Yeah, basically it means this. Here's negative 3 with a decimal, right? And now it's saying negative 12. That means move the decimal 12 points this way. If you move it 12 points this way, what are you basically saying? 0. A bunch of zeros. So basically, the vertex is at the point 4, 0. X is 4, y is 0. So what is my vertex? 4, 0. What's my axis of symmetry? X equals 4. It's always the x value of your max or min, right? So that's my axis of symmetry. Okay? So now let's go ahead and go to 17. 2x squared. So 2x squared plus 28x. So 2x squared plus 28x minus 8. I'm already on Zoom 6 window, so I'm just going to graph it and see what I get. If I don't get anything, then I'll go from there. Okay, here's what I know. I know that this is opening up or opening down? Opening up. So I know that if my y-intercept is negative 8, and I can see that it's doing something right here, it's either opening up over here or opening up over here. You know what I mean? So I've got to figure out, does the parabola do this or does it go over here? So, how do I know where it goes? You could change the window, you can mess with it. One way is to just try negative 100 on all of them, negative 100 to positive 100. Or you could look at the table. Okay, if I just change the window a little bit. Okay, so I went from negative 100 to 100 on everything, and now I see it, right? It's over here on the negative side. So did I need to go all the way that far on the right? No, so I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. I'm only going to go from like negative 30 to like 10 on x, because I don't need to go that far out. Negative 30 to 10. The minimum, it looked like it was kind of close to the minimum, so I'm going to go ahead and make that 120, just so I can go a little bit lower. Okay. So all I did was zoom in on the x, because I knew I didn't need to be so far out. I zoomed in, and then I went a little bit lower just so I could make sure I could see that low point. Okay. So, is this a maximum or a minimum? Well, we already knew it was a min because we already drew it, so never mind. So it is a minimum. How do I find the minimum value, the lowest it goes? Right, so I need to second calculate the minimum. Am I to the left of it right now? Yes? So press enter. Now I go to the right of it. Press enter. And I don't want to guess, so it says that my minimum is at the point negative 7, negative 106. So what is the lowest this function goes? Negative 7 or negative 106? Negative 106 is the lowest this function goes. So the minimum value is negative 106. What does it ask me when it says, what is the range? Well, remind me, what's the domain? Domain is x, and you guys are saying all real numbers because it goes left and right. Range is, if domain is left and right, then range is up and down. So what's the lowest it goes? Good. Negative 106 to positive infinity. Okay. 19? 19, I've got data, right? What do I need to do with that data? Okay, I need to put it into my calculator. Where? Okay, go to stat. Okay, so first I go to stat, and then I go to what? Edit. Okay, so stat, edit. What goes in list 1? Okay, the x value is negative 2, 0, and what? 4. What goes in my y values? The y is 18, 4, and 24. Okay, so I've entered in my data. What do? Go back to stat. Good. Go over to calc. And they're saying number 5. I want to do a quadratic regression. So I press enter. Do I want to do store regression equation? Alpha trace y1, y1. Okay. If you just get quad reg and you don't get anything else on your screen, you can still do the alpha trace right here, right? If you're dealing with an 83, then you do vars, y vars, enter, 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 right? Okay. So I press enter, and here's what I get. Guys, if I'm asking you for the parabola in standard form, do I want you to write down y equals ax squared plus bx plus c and a equals 2, b equals negative 3, and c equals 4? Or do I want you to fill it in? I want you to fill it in. Y equals what? Okay. Bless you. And there we go. So y equals 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. Okay. So 20 is the same thing. 21. Let's do 21. Guys, if I'm doing this and I'm typing this in my calculator, and all I see you do is write down the answer, then you are not doing the work, you are not practicing the work, and I will promise you that I will not give you credit on it whenever I grade your review. So if I notice that, I am making a mental note to myself. If you do not have a calculator in front of your hand, there are 4 up there on the wall. You need to be doing this. Okay. A biologist took account of the number of fish in a particular lake and recounted the lake's population of fish on each of the next 6 weeks. So from 0 to 6, we've got populations. Find a quadratic function that models the data as a function of x, the number of weeks. Use the model to estimate the number of fish on the lake at week 11. Okay, so enter our data. Stat. Edit. How do I clear it out? You can do up, clear, and then if you just go back down, evidently it clears it out too, instead of just pressing enter. Okay, can someone read out the x? Well, the x's are 0. Yeah, thanks. And then what are the y's? Would you say 495? 483 and then 481? Okay. So I've got my data entered. Now what do I do? Okay, I go back to stat. So I enter my data. Has everyone got their data entered? And then I go to the right to what? To calc. And then I want to calculate the what? The quadratic regression. So I go to 5. Do I want to store it? Alpha trace, y1. We don't always use it, but it's a good habit to have that because we want to use it now. 5, negative 17, and 495. So y equals 5x squared minus 17x plus 495. Okay, guys, that's half of my answer. It says estimate the number of fish on the lake at week 11. Week 11 has how many fish? This is an x value. I want to find the y value, right? Well, you have a couple different ways to do this. One of them is just to what? Okay, if you store it in your calculator and you go to table, and, well, I'm right there. When x equals 11, what does y equal? So week 11, I would say there are going to be 913 fish. Okay. What if I didn't store that? What if I forgot to do that? Can I still figure it out? Yeah, just type it in, or just plug it in. So I could say, well, what does y equal when x equals 11? And then plus 495. So I can just go 5 times 11 squared minus 17 times 11 plus 495, and I get 913 again. So you have a couple different options on finding the answer, okay? It's just understanding what you're trying to find. Okay. I'm not going to work 23 for you. Let's just talk about 22 for a second. We already did one like this in the notes, but I want to go ahead and just remind you, you need to base this on 24 hours, not, not the 12-hour. So if noon is 12, then what's 2? 14, so 2 more hours, and that would make that 16, and that would make that. Basically, just add 12. 12 plus 2, 12 plus 4, 12 plus 8, or 12 plus 6. Guys, if you want to predict, if you want to predict the high temperature for the day, what does that mean you need to do? You need to find the model, graph it. What window would we look at? What about for your x's? Okay, you could do 6 to 20, and that would look only around that time, and the maximum should be during that zone. You could go all the way from 0 to 24 if you want to do the whole day. It would be okay. If you did 6 to 20, you would still see the maximum, so that's okay. What about the y values? What would you want to range from? Okay, you would see, if you do 45 to 65, you would see the maximum, and that's okay. 65? Wait, where's the maximum? Yeah, 75. I would, or you could just make sure and just go 0 to 100. So it's really, as long as you're going to see the data, as long as you're going to see the arch, it's okay. So then you would want to calculate the maximum, right? So you'd find the max. Which one would be the time, the x or the y of your max? Okay, the time would be the x value. And what would be the high temperature? The y value. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to do with you. For the rest of the period, you are going to finish it, okay? So just keep working on your review.